According to a Chinese proverb, crisis is an opportunity riding on a dangerous wind. Talking about riding on a dangerous wind, how would one describe an Arsenal team that we thought has become star-studded, filling all the yearning gaps that we had in the team? And when they appeared at the Theatre of Dreams at Old Trafford, they flattered, they floundered, they were in 6 and 7. Arsenal could not hold their own breath against a resurgent United side, playing a 3-5-2 formation. Arsenal certainly could not contain United. And at the end, Arsenal took the victory, making it over their arch rivals by 1-0. But it wasn't a performance that gives smile on the faces of Arsenal fans globally. Welcome to another edition of Arsenal Fans Beat, brought to you by Arsenal fans. I have with me my teammate, Hospi. What do you have to say?
Ken. That was a very disturbing match, but it also showed resilience on our side. Because last season we lost over 20 points from winning positions. If it were last season, mentally we could have crumbled. United could have equalized and probably could have even lost a match. But we dug in. We're very intensive with our defending. And I'm sure the defending was very, very okay yesterday, especially the central defenders. Of course, Calafiori put the icing on the cake with that header from the corner that the goalkeeper fumbled. Overall, it wasn't a very eye-catching performance, but I would say it's just good that we nicked it and had a 3 points on the board.
It wasn't an eye-catching performance. It's just too good that we nicked it and had the 3 points on the board. At this point, the question on the lip of every Arsenal fan globally is Arsenal in tatters? Are they in crisis? Because how do you explain a situation where you think you've been able to cover all the yawning gaps in your team, and suddenly this team isn't performing? They're not firing all cylinders. It was a pathetic performance. But in the time past, we've had Arsenal making 80 possessions, and at the end of the day, they still lose a match. But just as Ospi said, yes, the defense was intact. They were able to hold their own. But for how long is an Arsenal team that is expected to win the Premier League this season and also the Champions League be floundering at the Old Trafford, a situation where everybody expected to see Arsenal playing with sagacity, with panache, but somehow it wasn't to be. Now, do you think this team is in crisis? Because the way it is now, one would have expected that as of today, would have nicked in an Eberechi Eze or Rodrigo. But the way it's going, I don't see those two players coming to Arsenal. With Man City coming in the fray to get Rodrigo, and Eberechi Eze, his head seems to be twisting going to Spurs because we aren't making the move that we ought to make. Or do you think that Beta has something in sleeve to correct the malady? Because you can't explain to me that the season just started, we're going to get it right. What happened to all the preseason matches that we played?
We are not in crisis, certainly. And you remember one of our discussions sometime back, I stated that it might take a little bit of time for the team to gel because you have few new players on the team.
But it's not the first time that we're having new players in the team, must be.
But when you start almost all of them together, it makes it a little bit difficult. Madueke will definitely be starting on that left-hand side
Ahead
of
of
the pitch.
Martinelli.
Yes, I see that happening. Yesterday, you had Zubi and Gyökeres as starters. And for me, I think we should revolve the way we play to play to the strength of Gyökeres. Yesterday, we saw Arsenal playing some lackluster ball. So whatever tactics they were doing yesterday, I just don't get it. You saw Gyökeres making runs in the channel behind the defenders, and no one was spotting him. They preferred to play sideways. As I was telling you, we had like 11 turnovers yesterday. where we were breaking on the counter, and none of them turned out to be a goal scoring opportunity, which is worrying. About Eze, I have a feeling that he might be going to Spurs because we've not bidded for him yet, and I'm sure that if we do not actually show our hands in terms of expressing interest, he's going to Spurs. But I also learned today that we're almost finalizing a deal for Zinchenko to go to Fenerbahce. Probably we'll get some cash there, and also if we can get some cash from the sales of this fellow Nelson to Fulham, that could also rein in some cash for us. But I don't really know what's happening. Some school of thought are also saying that if we bring in Eze, it's going to stifle the growth of Nwaneri.
That there are more than 60 plus matches we played this season.
Yes, and remember there is also the wonder kid called Max Daumann. Predominantly, he's a midfielder. We've just been using him on the right-hand side of the pitch. We might naturally want to see them grow. I won't regret it if we don't sign Eze, but I'll regret it if we don't sign any other person, especially for that left-hand side.
Okay, you said the team is not in crisis. How do we explain a situation where we have this caliber of players and on a good day against United we could not turn up? See, our poor performance against United is not the question of not playing well for 20 minutes or 30 minutes. The entirety of the game we did not play well. Like when the ball hits the attack, we seem to be lost of idea of what to do with them. Because we had some breakaway opportunities. The only time I saw our winger taking the ball close to United was when Noni Madueke entered. I could see him running through that channel and trying to create something from that end. Aside that, Martinelli played close to 70 plus minutes. I did not see him. I was even wondering if he played the game. I was wondering. So, do you think Arteta is still the man to take us to the promised land? Because you can't have this kind of players and yet we're floundering.
We are not in crisis. You cannot use a yardstick from 90 minutes to determine the status of the team. Like I told you, the team is revolving in terms of tactics, in terms of technicalities. And we are trying to adapt to certain things, certain way of playing. That's a little bit different from what we were playing last season because we have to, like I said, play to the strength of Gyökeres. And the intensity of the match yesterday from United was just up the roof. They had, I think, 3 debutants whom I feel like they were very,
hungry
and energetic to impress the Old Trafford crowd. Cunha, for example, he was all over the place. Buemo was also very electric and all of that. And you can also remember in past years that at Old Trafford, when they say United versus Arsenal, it's a different ball game altogether. They play their guts out, they sweat their blood on the pitch because it's just Arsenal. And that's what I was telling people are saying this United performance also superb. They are going to go to places this season. I told them I want to see their next match and the following match, because if they keep up the same intensity, very truly they will. But I also know that those intensities are almost always reserved for a team called Arsenal. So let us see what transpires for them in the upcoming matches. If they will be able to maintain the same intensity, then they have a possibility of clicking and doing better things this season. But again, let me reiterate,
United fans,
we are not in crisis. We are not in crisis. And it's good that we play ugly, we win ugly, we have the points on the board. And in time to come when we click, we'll be unstoppable.
Okay, in terms of when we click, we'll be unstoppable. But I still have an impression that we'll have, if we're not in general crisis, then we'll have a tactical crisis, because you talked about that we're trying to change to play to the strength of Gyökeres. I didn't see an Arsenal team that tried, that dared, that even managed to play, just like you said. We saw Gyökeres running through those channels behind, taking on the shoulders of those defenders, but nobody took note of that. Rather, what I saw in the entirety of the game is he coming back. Was seeing similar thing that what was it, Eberechi Eze used to do, coming back to pick the ball and trying to run, which is not what we should be doing. Considering the fact that we now have a point man, I was expecting us to be more dynamic, looking out for those true passes for the guy, because this was a man that was basically being wrestled in that match. The elite was all over him, wrestling him down to the floor. Each time there's an area battle, you see somebody is trying to nig him behind and trying to dislodge him from having, a presence with the ball. So they knew where his strength lied, but we did not take advantage of that. The balls were not coming to him. Rather, what fans were complaining about, the chances that he created the chances for himself. I was expecting to see a team with Bukayo Saka, with Martinelli, with Odegaard, with Declan Rice, feed him the ball. Because when Odegaard wrote him a letter, the first thing he said is in his response to Odegaard's letter is, when Odegaard said, whatever you want, just name it, I'll be there to sort it out. He said, an assist is what I want. Odegaard fluffed his lines. And so if we're not in crisis, I believe that we're having a tactical crisis. Because how can a coach like Arteta's caliber sit on the bench for 45 plus minutes in the first half, saw the way United were resurgent and surging over us from every part of the pitch and could not find a solution to it for 96 minutes? That is a tactical crisis that we faced.
I think it was just, I'll differ a little bit. I see that as a perfect match management.
Match management?
Yes, we managed
in what
the match
way?
very
How?
well yesterday.
Please educate us.
In previous years, last season and the previous seasons, we'll crumble under such pressure.
Agreed.
We'll lose those points. Probably we can even lose that match. I believe it's a little bit of an upgrade on what we are capable of doing. So even you take out today our two central defenders, Gabriel and Saliba.
Yeah.
We still have very good replacements in Mosquera, Kivio, even Timber, Calafiori. They can all play in that center position. Now, talking about crisis, I think it's so early. You cannot use the statistics from one match to draw a conclusion. And I said this on another session here previously, that it takes between 5 to 8 games. 5 to 8 games or matches for teams to find their
speed.
feet
These
on the
guys have been
ground.
playing preseason. How do they need those preseason games were good enough for them to find their rhythm?
It's kind of different. It's kind of different. You even saw when PSG played Spurs. Spurs were like the better side because they had very good games in their legs. But for me, I always tell that the preseason match and reality are different because of the intensity. I will still bulk up to say, I want to see how Arsenal fare after our next 5 games. Then I'll definitely pinpoint the direction the team is going. But for now, if you even watch yesterday, Arteta was a little bit, tricking here and there, tickling away with some of his tactics. We also saw that when Kai Havertz came on,
right,
we tweaked the formation a little bit, and there was a time that Saka actually passed the ball in the 10-yard box. There was nobody there, and I had somebody say, "You see, that's the essence of having a pointed striker." And Gyökeres was not on
was not there. That I was going to come to that, because the only time we had the ball in that box, Victor Gyökeres was nowhere.
He wasn't there.
They've already replaced him.
I think almost all the pundits saw our problem yesterday: the late passes, the delayed passes, not really finding.
There was no sense of urgency from our part
for our strikers in the channel, and I think everybody was just off it yesterday, apart from our central strikers and probably our defenders. Because Ben White was magnificent yesterday as well, and not to speak of
Gabriel Magalhaes.
Raya was also very superb between the posts. So let's just hope that in coming weeks we'll find our feet as quickly as possible. Get our striker his first goal so that he can get a little bit of breather, relax, and the confidence can just ooze in.
So, but how do you know, I keep insisting, I'm one of those that tend to differ that Arsenal is not in crisis, and it is early for us, enough for us to start addressing these issues so I will be able to nullify it. Because why I said we are in crisis, if we're not in crisis, how do you then we have tactical crisis at hand? Because how do we explain where Cunha and Mbemo combined, they had 9 shots against Arsenal. 9. And our goalkeeper was at his best. Because if Raya wasn't at his best, look at how we stood there. Mbemo came from nowhere and had that glancing header that the goalkeeper had to parry. That was a misnomer for me, for a team that is supposed to be resurgent and looking forward to compete competitively for the Premier League. I think we are facing tactical crisis here.
I don't think we are resurgent anyways. We just want to improve on what we have achieved, the platform we've set, the foundation we've set in the last couple of seasons or 3 seasons in a row. I feel like there should be a little bit of tweaking, especially in the middle of the park. I have a strong feeling that Odegaard is stalling the team's progress at some point. Last season, we had people saying Eberechi Jesus and Zinchenko that the team has outdated their way of playing. We've grown past them.
Yeah.
I have a feeling that we are almost getting there as well with Odegaard because he lacks urgency. He's not physical. His prowess of being a highly technical player, it is draining because he cannot even use that technicality to find passes, top-notch passes like what Fabregas and Ozil used to do.
So it's a tactical crisis.
Yeah, line-breaking passes. It's not tactical.
Because if it's not tactical crisis, why is the coach not doing something? You have Waneri on the bench. What is wrong about being ruthless enough for you to change the formation and bring in a Waneri?
The word crisis is really what I want to avoid.
You want to avoid? Because that is why I see it.
To avoid the word crisis here. And I don't feel it's a crisis anyway. I feel like we could do better. I feel like we have ways to improve, and I feel like we'll get there as the season runs out.
Okay. Hospi feels like we can get better and we can get to that peak level as the season runs out. You never can tell. If you get to the middle of the season, it's going to be a huge challenge. Okay, moving on away from the topsy-turvy performance of Arsenal over the weekend. Now, suddenly, there's one man that is coming in the furrow of whom Arsenal might want to sign. Talking about Anthony Semenyo, the guy from Roma City that took the entire defense of Liverpool to tatters. Now, looking at that young man, there's one young man that I've looked at with one corner of my eye, hoping that Arsenal, coaches, their coaching crew can look at that guy. He has a very good offensive and direct way of playing, which is something that we are lacking in our team. Because if you look at the way he took his chances against Liverpool, on a good day, you never expect him to score. There was one ball that he nicked from the front of the Bournemouth box. He took it until he scored against Liverpool.
Yeah.
So we don't have such player that can take us. He knows how to, the way he held his nerves, he calmed himself down, pushed Konate to one corner, and he took his chance against a world-class goalkeeper. Do you think going for Antonio Semenyo will be a solution to our blunt attack?
I think he's a very tough lad. He's physically built. He's built for the Premier League. His stature is imposing, and I feel that the technical aspects of his game need a little bit of improvement. I think he's still learning his trade, which is very good. There is one quality of him that I so admire. He has very strong long throws, throw ins. His throw ins are very powerful. That could even serve like another set piece for Arsenal altogether.
Yeah.
In my opinion, he's someone who could be this time at Arsenal, who could even say, I'm satisfied to come from the bench. He has some good years ahead of him. And I'm not sure he is worried about his international status if he's on the bench, as if his country is not going to call him. I'm sure he will still make it up in his national team. Unlike the Eze, he's a full England international now.
I want more playing time.
He want more playing time because he wants to be a starter in the Three Lions team. And of course, in time to come for international competitions, if he's not a starter at Arsenal, it might affect his selection. And Eze is about, 26? And Semenyo is about 24, is that not so? 24, 23, 24. It's up to the bosses in the upper room at the Emirates. Whatever they think is right, especially from the technical point of view, it's fine by me. But I just feel like we need one more deadly signing, especially on that left-hand side of the. But we have
Noni Madueke already.
He can play. He can play along the same line, and with even the physique of this guy, Semenyo, he could even play the Saka role. He could even play in the middle channel. He could even play up front like a second striker because of his height. He could be knocking down some of those balls for Gyökeres to play. He can even play the left-sided midfield as well. It's just up to whoever is playing for the day. But I think if we can sign him, it's not about who starts, it's about the depth of the squad, which matters right now.
Okay, it's about the depth of the squad, which matters right now. So Antonio Semenyo is another player that is on the radar of Arsenal. And from the look of things, I think we should be forgetting about Eberechi Eze. I'm sure he'll be heading to Tottenham.
I really wish we were not saying this, but unfortunately, no.
Okay, going forward now, looking at the way this team is now and the lethargic performance that we experienced against United, what do you think Arteta should do going forward in order to correct the current malady in the team? Because I describe it as a malady, a situation where we came into a game, we could not find our rhythm. That was pathetic.
I would say, first off, he should concentrate a little bit on Saka. I'm not saying he should be taken off the firing line, but almost all the teams in the EPL have found a way to sit on Saka, the double marking, and you have like a third player, a third body on the line. If Saka manages to weave his way through the first two, the third barrier is there, which is stifling our play. And our playmaker, Odegaard, our captain, he's always having his side passes to the right, to Saka. So if you even look at the heat map or the attacking status of Arsenal, about 60 to 65% of our attacks goes through on the right-hand side, which is a little bit disturbing.
So we are coming to the point where I said we have tactical crisis.
So no, it's not a crisis. It's not a crisis.
Because it's the same thing we've been complaining about over the last 2 seasons, and it's still happening again. And you want to win the Premier League.
It's still not a crisis. If teams found ways to double down on Saka and make him a little bit ineffective, we can also find ways to avert that one way or the other. When Saka was punching through them, they were not in crisis.
So now, have we been able to find ways of averting it? No.
I'm sure there will be a way.
For the third season running?
There will be a way. and I can assure you, because we even had snippets of that last season when Nwaneri was deputizing for Saka. That was a way. You had a different body, had a different style of playing from Saka. It was difficult to hold him down. Young, energetic. He was hungry to prove himself. That's the way. And this season we have another one in Madueke, if we happen to sign Semenyo or Eze, those are all options we can look at. But for me, what I think our coach should be doing a little bit early in our matches is to actually make some changes. He should be bold enough to take out some of these players who are not on top of their games. You cannot be on top. Do you expect that they are professionals? These guys are world-class players. Within seconds, they can create game-changing moments. But at times, leaving them on the pitch for far too long, especially when they are not playing well, affects them mentally. You even see some of the fans will be turning on them. Their own fans turning on them to boo them or to heckle them on the pitch. It dents their confidence anyway.
Okay, the other point is, do you think that Martin Odegaard, the captain of the team, is he undroppable?
Maguire was the captain of Manchester United. He was dropped.
So why is Arteta not taking that decision?
Cesar Azpilicueta was the captain of Chelsea. He was dropped.
So why is Arteta not taking that twin the same line?
Kevin De Bruyne was the captain of Man City.
So the question is, why is Arteta not towing the same line?
I don't know.
Okay. Hospi doesn't know why Arteta doesn't want to improve on his tactical know-how, and that is why I say Arsenal is a team with tactical crisis.
It's not about improving. He just has to be ruthless.
Okay. So his inability to be ruthless shows that we're facing a tactical crisis at the moment.
We are not in crisis.
Anyways, let's move away from that. Arsenal, yes, looking at the other games that Arsenal is going to be playing, having nullified United at Old Trafford, making 3 points, we're going to be playing 5 solid matches, and these are tough games coming. Playing against Leeds United, playing against Liverpool, Man City, Newcastle, and Nottingham Forest. These are no means games. These are games that we need to up our game. But if we play the way we played against United, I don't see us coming up, without a defeat in these matches. But you are the expert here because you are defending the team the way it is. I said we're facing tactical crisis. You have relentlessly pointed out that Arsenal is not in crisis. How many points do you think we can get from these 5 tough games ahead?
As much as 15 points.
Wow. That's
the target.
With the way we played, we flat out against United?
Yeah, that's the target.
So tell us how you're going to do this.
It's achievable. I watched highlights of a few of the games I played over the weekend. Nottingham Forest are not invisible. They are not even really up on their game versus Brentford. Though Brentford is another physical side, but they're in a little bit of tatters at the moment with some of their players leaving. Liverpool also, you look at the Semenyo goal, you look at the comeback from Bournemouth. They have deficiencies. I can say Van Dijk has lost a meter in his pace. He's 34 years old now. You cannot have the best of him as in previous seasons. You look at Newcastle, play them, their physical side. We have showed in preseason and last season that we can cope with the physical aspect of their tactics anyways. We've coped with that and we can play to that strength.
Don't forget that Man City is a resurgent team too.
And
with Tijani Reinders and the likes of Cherki.
We have Man City. Man City is always Man City. I'm not too worried about them because the coaches know themselves better. Their tactics are not far from each other. I think the team that has probably tenacity on the day goes on to win that match. As an elite club, I feel like 15 points, the maximum number of points is what we should go for. If anything falls below that, it's okay. But as long as we don't get to lose some of these matches.
Wow. So, as Spear said, it's so confident of this Arsenal side because having watched the way we flattered in that match against United and beginning to have a second thought. But the key driving force this season is that Arsenal must have the audacity to go to any ground and win without looking at whether they are playing against you in your home, or away. So now, I want to ask you, if you want to rate the performance of Victor Gyökeres, do you give him a chance in doing well in this league with the way he has played so far in the first match he played against United? Because some naysayers within the fan base are beginning to say, we didn't see him do anything, even especially other, what's it called, bantering fan base fans.
I feel like Gyökeres has an opportunity to get settled in the squad as soon as possible if we play to his strength, like what I said. He's a pinpointed striker who always runs on, from the top of the shoulders of the last defender. And I'm telling you, if you put Gyökeres through one-on-one with goalkeepers, he has blistering pace, and his shots are so powerful that it will be very difficult for defenses to cope with him. Because of his hefty price tag, because of the drawn-out transfer from Sporting to Arsenal, a lot of cloud has been hanging over his head, and he has a lot of pressure on his shoulder as well. But I know with time he's going to nick that one goal, get his confidence back, get the pressure off his shoulder, and he will hit the ground running. We just need that one goal from him.
So, do you think that Arsenal made a mistake in not signing Sesko? Because if you look at the 60 minutes that Victor Gyökeres played, he had about 22 touches. And this young man played for 26 minutes, got about 7 touches.
But remember, United,
and with 2 shots on.
United had the upper hand in that match.
Okay.
United had the upper hand.
So
we are busy defending.
So this is not
the time. But you also saw how Gyökeres bullied defenders when he was fighting all alone by himself up there. If we are in the ascendancy in that match, you would have seen the involvement of Gyökeres more evident, And people are praising the area prowess of Sesko. You saw how Gabriel dismantled him from nothing to minus nothing, And I'm confident Sesko just needs to have his first goal, and Gyökeres needs to have his first goal, and he will hit the ground running. Sesko, please don't have that.
Anyways, that's a good one. Gyökeres needs to get his first goal and hit the ground running. I've seen enough of Gyökeres, and I'm confident about the lad. I have no doubt in his ability. The only thing that I've seen right from the few matches he had played in the preseason till now is that Arteta has not been able to fashion a way of getting the balls to him. And that, I still insist, is a tactical challenge, and it's something that we need to address. If we need to nick the 15 points from those 5 remaining matches, because those are tough matches, once we can nick these 5 remaining matches, the other matches we're going to be playing is not for us. Because if we cannot play against these oppositions, we're flattering. Is it when we start playing against these middle table teams that know how to go on a low block that we're going to perform? Because that is where I have my fears. Because it is good that we're beginning to play these tough teams early. Then we know that we'll nullify them, but now we'll not start picking our points from the middle table teams. So that is where I'm having my problem. And that is why I am of the opinion, and I insist here on this show, that Arsenal is facing tactical crisis until Mikel Arteta is able to prove that.
I beg to differ.
So until he's able to prove that, then I stick to my belief. I was pleased having a different impression, but my
it's your opinion.
Yeah,
you're entitled to it.
Yes,
but I'm not seeing anything like crisis.
Anyway,
it's too early.
Ospiri doesn't believe that we're in tactical crisis, and he believes that it's too early for us to start judging the team. I believe that we've had enough of time during the preseason for us to come with all the tactical know-how. I should be able to see a team that is evolving. We play the first half. That is different with the masterclass with the likes of Arsene Wenger, Ferguson, Guardiola. First 45 minutes, the flow. They'll just do a tweak and the team pattern will change. We did not see any change. Even when we brought in the likes of attacking forces in Noni Madueke, it was still the same flattering way. So our defense was... Imagine if our defense that were not good. We didn't have good defenders. We should have conceded close to 4 goals in that game. Because we just didn't know how to get across the line. And that's a coaching issue. And I think I have gotten enough experience in this league, in the Champions League, in order for him to know what to do per time. So it is on his shoulders now. Now, I'm not calling the Cronkies again to say, you've not given him the players that you want. You have enough players. And the high time he began to send players out of the team. People like Jacob Kivio, they can go. Zichenko can leave. Luis Nelson, and let them bring in more formidable forces so that when we look at the bench, we know that we have a bench. Today, the difference between Man City and every other team is that they have a formidable second 11. And the same thing is applicable to Chelsea and Liverpool. Chelsea might have spent their billions of pounds, but the truth of the matter is that they have a bench. And we don't have any reason for us to start complaining that our bench is not good. We have opportunity to do that now. So on a final note, I would like you to look at the team the way it is now and critically tell us, where do you think that your earlier prediction of we winning the Premier League, do you still stand on that, or is wavering with what you have seen so far?
I'm not wavering. I'm sticking to that.
So, your final word for the Arsenal team?
Let's tweak a little bit of tactics, probably get one more personnel, especially on the left-hand side. Show the exit door to few, like Zichenko, the Luis Nelson. I don't want to release Kiro. He is very vital to our squad and to squad depth as well. And let's play to the strength of Gyökeres. I am sure that the technical team will have a complete review of the Manchester United display and pinpoint some of these areas. Like I said, we have 11 turnovers and none of them was a goal scoring opportunity, which is very bad. Liverpool can never have that amount of turnovers and they don't nick at least 50% of them. So let's just improve on that aspect of our game, and I'm very sure that success will be ours.
Okay. Hospital just said we want to see some level of tweak in the team. That's from the coach's side. I want to let some players go that it feels that their time in the team have passed. And the success will start coming. I'll start hitting the ground running. And for me, I just want to say, Mikel Arteta, you need to change the paradigm. 5 years and some months running, you've coached Arsenal. There is no reason for you not to win a major trophy for Arsenal this season. So the biggest thing you need to do for us is to be dynamic and be ruthless. That is what I ask of you from today's show. You must be dynamic and be ruthless. Yeah. Until then, from us,
ciao.
And from me, keep liking the channel, keep sharing, keep subscribing. Follow us on all our social media handles you're going to be seeing on the reels. Until then, it is come on, you Gunners!